The CNBC Republican presidential debate tonight included a meltdown moment the likes of which we have never seen in a presidential debate.
It's three agencies of government when I get there that are gone. Commerce, education, and the, what's the third one there? Let's see.
You need five.
Oh, five. Okay. So commerce, education, and the
EPA?
EPA. There you go. No, okay.
Let's talk deficit.
Seriously? Is EPA the one you were talking about? Or?
No, sir. No, sir. We were talking about the agencies of government. The EPA needs to be rebuilt. There's no doubt about that.
But you can't name the third one?
The third agency of government,
yeah.
I would do away with the education, the commerce, and let's see. I can't. The third one I can't. Sorry. Oops.
I said at the end of Rick Perry's first debate that he had destroyed his candidacy by attacking Social Security. He could not possibly beat President Obama by attacking Social Security if he ever got to be the nominee, and he probably couldn't win the Republican nomination with that attack on Social Security. Tonight, he just lost all hope of even being considered for the vice presidential nomination. The party cannot afford to send that man into a debate with Joe Biden. Joining me now is MSNBC analyst Steve Schmidt. He is the former senior advisor to the McCain-Palin campaign and a senior strategist in the Bush-Cheney 04 campaign. And MSNBC political analyst and future MSNBC host Alex Wagner. Thank you both for joining me tonight. Steve, you've seen a lot of these debates. There's never been a moment in my lifetime in the history of televised presidential debates as what we just saw happen with Rick Perry. He's got these three agencies of government he absolutely wants to close down when he becomes president. Just can't remember that third one.
Yeah, I think it's over for him. I think his campaign effectively ended tonight. Just an extraordinary moment, the likes of which we have never seen before in a presidential debate. He had fallen off the radar screen. He's fallen to Michelle Bachmann levels in the race, but I think it's over tonight with that. Yeah, he had collapsed in the polls, Alex, but when you look at that stage, there's a bunch of people who absolutely cannot be on a ticket. Newt Gingrich, Ron Paul, Michelle Bachmann. And so by process of elimination, even though Perry's numbers were very bad, he was still in it. Theoretically, he was still somebody, since he was elected governor, could conceivably end up on a ticket. That's gone.
It's hard to be more underwhelming than the people he was surrounded by, but that was something akin to wetting your pants on the last day of school. I mean, there is no reprieve for Rick Perry. I mean, especially, ironically, on energy, which is something he has hammered over and over.
Well, it turned out 20 minutes later that he was thinking of, he said, the Department of Energy. He finally got that out. Here he is, the governor of Texas, the oil business centered there, and he couldn't quite remember that, oh yeah, that department that regulates my big industry, I want to get rid of them.
It was one of those white-knuckled moments where you could almost hear him saying, line, line. I mean, it was painful to watch in a lot of respects, but I think once you have sort of the pity of the American public, you've also lost their vote.
And, Steve, this was one of those debates that everybody was watching just to see how is Herman Cain going to handle it. And also, not just how is he going to handle it, but how is it going to come up? It wasn't clear to me in a CNBC economics debate, basically, how you could bring this up. But let's see exactly how it did come up in the debate.
Mm-hmm. Here we're focusing on character and on judgment. You've been a CEO.
Yes.
You know that shareholders are reluctant to hire a CEO where there are character issues. Why should the American people hire a president if they feel there are character issues?
The American people deserve better than someone being tried in the court of public opinion based on unfounded accusations. That's what that's about. And I value my character and my integrity more than anything else. And for every one person that comes forward with a false accusation, there are thousands who would say none of that sort of activity ever came from Herman Cain. You're right. This country's looking for leadership. And this is why a lot of people, despite what has happened over the last 9 days, are still very enthusiastic behind my candidacy. Over the last 9 days, the voters have voted with their dollars, and they'll say they don't care about the character assassination. They care about leadership and getting this economy growing and all of the other problems we face.
Steve, that was it. Just one question to Herman Cain about it. How did he handle it?
Well, I thought he handled it terribly, and I thought his campaign effectively ended yesterday with that news conference. 30 minutes of nonsense talk with a healthy dose of third-person references and conspiracy theories thrown in on top of it. A conspiracy between Rick Perry, the Democrats, and the media, and I think these are serious charges, and I thought it was an extraordinary moment that someone is accused by 4 women of sexual harassment, refers to Speaker Pelosi as Princess Pelosi, and how degrading and contemptible his attitude towards women. I just thought it was an extraordinary moment. I thought in a poker game, I just thought it was a big tell, and I disagree with Nancy Pelosi on nearly everything, but she earned that title, and his contempt that he showed towards her, I just thought it was bad. Thought it was a big tell, and I think Herman Cain is going to lose ground rapidly in this race. In the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, Alex, he referred to Nancy Pelosi as Princess Pelosi later in the debate on a health care question. But there was one more round where John Harwood tried to reignite this question of the Cain sexual harassment by putting this question to Mitt Romney. Let's listen to this.
Would you keep him on if you had bought his company?
Look, Herman Cain is the person to respond to these questions. He just did. The people in this room and across the country can make their own assessment. I'm not going to.
Governor Huntsman, let me switch back to the economy.
The debate audience has spoken. The ones in the room, they don't want to hear a word of this.
Well, look, I mean, the idea was that this is going to be focused on economic policy, but at the end of the day, this is a huge news story, and I think it was only appropriate that they asked Herman Cain about it. My favorite Herman Cain line of the night was when he said, "For every woman that has accused me of sexual harassment, there are thousands who have not," which is the same argument a serial killer could use. For every person I have killed, there are thousands of people I have not killed. I mean, this is not cogent. This is not coherent. This is not someone who should be president.
Steve, we normally think of primaries as the process that toughens up the nominee. Certainly worked that way for Barack Obama last time around because he was running against some very difficult competition, obviously in Hillary Clinton and others. I mean, Joe Biden was a serious force on the debate stage. Chris Dodd was a serious force on the debate stage when he got a chance to speak. There are no serious players on that debate stage anymore. It's Mitt Romney by himself. He cannot fail, and it doesn't seem to me that this debate process is strengthening him as a candidate.
I think one of the interesting aspects of this is the comeback of Speaker Gingrich over the last month or so, particularly with the collapse of Perry. He's in third place right now, and I would expect him to rise on the basis of the performance tonight. The further collapse of Perry, I expect Cain's numbers to come down. But we may well see a situation where Speaker Gingrich now is the chief competitor to Mitt Romney going forward. And I think Speaker Gingrich, I don't believe he'll be the nominee, but I do believe he'll put Governor Romney through his paces in these future debates. And as we move into the voting period and the number of people on that stage begins to shrink, I do think that Governor Romney's going to have some more competition than we've seen so far in the race.
The MSNBC team, Steve Schmidt and Alex Wagner, thank you both for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Lawrence.
You bet. Great to be with you, Lawrence.